1.
There's a table.
2.
There's an orange.
3.
There are some eggs.
4.
There are some pears.
5.
There's some spaghetti.
6.
There's some milk.
7.
There's some sugar.
Tom wasn't happy. He needed some money to buy a new bike. Last Saturday, he went to the park. When he sat down, he saw a wallet. When he opened the wallet, he saw lots of money. Tom took the wallet to the police station. They asked for his name and address. After 3 days, a man came to Tom's house. Tom opened the door and he was very surprised when the man gave him a beautiful new blue bike. "Thank you very much," said the man. "It was my wallet." The girl that plays the piano is called Sally.
1.
I'm looking for the phone that was on my desk.
2.
The man that fell over the cat wasn't wearing glasses.
3.
We'd like to see the film that starts at 6 o'clock.
4.
The author that wrote those novels became famous.
5.
The glass that fell on the floor is broken.
One.
This is the person who we watched playing tennis.
2.
This is the person who watched us playing tennis.
3.
This is the boat that I won in the competition.
4.
This is the boat that won the race.
5.
These are the people who we cooked a meal for.
6.
These are the people who cooked a meal for us.
Conversation 1.
How many birthday cards have you got?
Only 2 at the moment. Look at the card my little brother made for me.
I love it.
Conversation 2.
That's the house where my grandfather was born.
Which one?
The one that's got smoke coming out of the chimney.
Conversation 3.
I know that girl.
Which girl?
The girl whose father is talking on the phone.